Alright guys, here we're with Josh and Spencer of SatoshiVerse.
On.
Hey, hey.
You want to give us
How's
a
it going?
introduction of what
Yes.
SatoshiVerse is?
Welcome to the SatoshiVerse. So the SatoshiVerse is the IP. The game itself is Satoshi's Legions, which is our flagship product developed with this IP. The IP started as an illustration and comic with Jose Delbo, who's a illustrator he was an illustrator for Wonder Woman back in the 70s, and then moved to Marvel and was an illustrator for the Transformers comic books. So this is a comic book universe, why we're here at the Comic-Con, based on Satoshi the creator. So there's connection there with Satoshi Nakamoto and Bitcoin, for people who are familiar with that. So this is a futuristic kind of dystopian world fighting against the defenders of fiat. And Satoshi the creator and his legionnaires down here are basically who you're playing in this game. So we've done a couple other releases, but Satoshi's Legions is a third-person action RPG roguelike game that's Web3 enabled, which means, for those familiar with NFTs, as you play the game, your weapons, items, the blueprints, materials that drop, those things will actually drop to you into your wallet as NFTs that you can, as being the owner, do with what you want. And then beyond that, we're a metaverse company ourselves, Apollo Entertainment. So we're very, very interested beyond this, getting into the metaverse experience, interconnectedness between projects, eventually bringing other people's NFTs into ours, bringing ours out into the world, into other experiences as well. So just really, really trying to be at the forefront of the innovation of the Web3 and crypto NFT revolution, and just really feel there's a lot of innovation to be had here. And the game itself is entering its alpha phase, January 10th, so coming up very soon, for the holders of our Legionnaires. Then we'll eventually roll into the next phase for the holders of our secondary project, which is called Ape Mo's Army.
This is the t-shirt?
Which various animals. So there's a whole background to this with story that you can see on the website, the comic base of what all of this is thematically. But right now our core gameplay loop is ready to go.
Mic up really quick there.
Oh yeah, our core gameplay loop is ready to go. And our holders will be able to play and give us their feedback and help us continue to develop this game in this over the next year.
So if you were to buy one of the NFTs right now, could you still get an alpha, or has that closed?
Absolutely, yeah. So anybody who's holding a Legionnaire, when that goes live in the alpha, when you log into your game, you'll need to have an avatar to be able to play the game. Mm-hmm. And so those avatars can be leveled up and then bought and sold freely. And so as long as you're holding an avatar, you can get in.
Yeah. You can find Satoshi's Legionnaires. You can find them on OpenSea currently or Nifty Gateway. Floor price is about 0.1 ETH at the moment.
Yeah. The trade show now with the gameplay we're seeing here, is it actual gameplay?
Yep.
Engine are you running on?
This is actual gameplay. I mean, there's some cinematic elements like bits and pieces throughout, but when you actually see them playing the game, which will be in a second, it is actual gameplay. It's developed on the Unreal Engine 5.
Okay.
Yep. So the Legionnaires and Ape Mo Army are on the ETH mainnet, but all of the NFTs that drop will be on the Polygon chain. Yeah, that's the tech behind it right now.
Exciting. So this is the next major thing you have coming out in January.
Yeah.
You have SatoshiVerse. You have the comic. Is the comic fully released?
Well, so there's actually no comic yet. It's just based on a comic character that Jose Delbo created.
So he has some art pieces, some illustrations with his comic style.
Yeah.
We haven't actually, at some point, that may happen.
Yeah.
But right now, our focus, all of our resources are on really. We just think that video games and NFTs is a revolution that's coming, and we want to make something that's high quality, not just this kind of fly-by-night project or something. Something that really feels like a real video game, action. I have my own background. I was 20 years in the industry. I worked at 2K Games, Electronic Arts. Was a producer for video games, and so, I just really want to see the convergence of this technology with quality experiences.
So now, when you say roguelike, Does that mean each environment you go into is generated? Are there some consistent elements, or how does that play out?
So there's permanence in your avatar. The RPG element is that your avatar will continue to gain experience through this loop that you're playing through.
Yeah.
But the roguelike element is that when you start a run, the levels that you go into, so we have basically a whole bunch of levels that you choose, but it's random which levels will appear, and so there's an element of randomness in each run and how you'll run through that.
Is there an end game or any sort of raids that you would play with other people?
So right now for the alpha, we've taken it to a certain point, like with the boss, but we're going to develop beyond that. It's going to be bigger. There's going to be more content beyond that, stuff that we haven't announced yet. But yeah, there are elements right now of getting far enough in to get to the boss, but you'll need to kind of play a few times, get more powerful, push deeper and deeper into what we're calling the outskirts, and eventually get to the boss, and then have your crack at more legendary loot, stuff like that. And then we'll just continue to take it. We have more plans beyond that with further bosses and that sort of thing. So, but really locking down the game loop and the gameplay, the combat, a lot of things are still early, and so we just want to get feedback from the people that are in our community, these Legionnaires, to help us, make a better game that they actually get to take part in. Normally, people aren't this involved this early on. So.
Yeah, it feels like we're not. Where, other than OpenSea NFTs, where can people find out more information about the game?
Yeah.
Map, maybe.
You can go. So if you go to SatoshiVerse.io, that's our webpage. That'll just tell you more about the background of the IP itself.
Yeah, we have all of our lore on there as well. Yeah. We have like 16 chapters of lore or something
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of lore.
Good amount of content.
Awesome.
And then from there it'll tell you about if you're holding the Legionnaires or Aimo Army. Eventually we're going to be releasing Satoshi's crystals, which will be delivered primarily to holders of those. And some other elements that we haven't really gone live with. I need to be careful not to divulge too much alpha, but that's kind of what I'm known from. That's all right, no worries. But yeah, so a lot of moving parts, and it's really exciting to try to be at the forefront of Web3 and bring a good experience, bring these NFTs into the experience, and let people own their own items, interchange these things with other projects, all of that. So there's a lot of things to do.
I think that's an introduction.
Yeah.
Thank you.